Today is part 3 of the Dragon Blood wine. Hi, I'm Brian.
I'm Derica, and you're watching City Steading Brews. We are working on our Dragon Blood wine still. We had an idea of what we were going to do today, and that has changed.
Let me explain. This is going to end up being a carbonated wine, okay? Not champagne, because that has to come from the Champagne region of France, so let's not even use that word. It's a sparkling wine. But when I pulled it out today to say, it's been, let's see, we racked this on December 4th, right? So it's been like 5 weeks since it's been racked. It was started on November 21st, though. So this is, coming up on like 7 weeks or so. It's ready, but you can see it. If you look right here, see that line? That is sediment. Okay, we did a rough rack on this, so technically this is still sort of a primary ferment. It's not really ready for prime time yet. So what we want to do is rack it off of this stuff and hopefully leave behind as much of the lees as possible. This was made from whole fruit, so there's a lot of lees, a lot of pulp and pieces. And we just want to see how much of that we can leave behind. So today, instead of showing you how to naturally carbonate and bottle this, we're going to be racking it. Since Derica is very concerned about me telling her that she got too much sediment in here, she's asked me to actually activate the racking game today. So what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to rack it into a pitcher, all right, that has been cleaned and everything like that. It's good to go. It's been sanitized. And before anybody gives me a hard time for touching this with my hand, I have to. You have to hold on to things. If you don't, you can't actually do this. Everything around me has been sanitized, though. Everything is covered in sanitizer liquid. So trust me, it's as clean as it can be. The reason she wanted me to do this is because with all this in there, it's very volatile. This is just going to go all over the place. And I just want to go about halfway down. So I'm going to kind of visually measure about like that and very slowly put it in to about where my fingers are, and just with long stroke on here. You don't want to do short strokes because that'll just agitate things too much. Just going to nice and slow pump like that and get it going. See, I can't even do a long stroke. It's got to be the short ones. I hate that. All right, now it's going. I don't want to move this too much, but I'm going to have to as we go. There are little clips and things like that you can do, so you can do this one-handed if you had to, or like with one person if you don't have to. But this is kind of boring, so I'm not going to show you all of it. An interesting point just came up. A lot of time we'll move this one a lot lower so that it goes faster. And this time I think we're not going to do that, because with it being a little bit slower of a suction, it's not going to agitate all that loose lees nearly as much. So that's something to keep in mind too. Just having this little bit of difference in height is enough for it to work, but it's not so much that it'll actually agitate all that loose lees on the bottom.
Getting stuff, yeah.
And I hit it anyway. So being that this is really the first racking, because the last time we just did a rough rack, as much as I'm concerned about getting too much stuff, I really shouldn't be, because I can rack it again. And I'm probably going to rack it again, and that's okay. You rack it as many times as you need to until you get the clarity that you're looking for. So now that I've already got some in there, I'm not as concerned. I mean, I don't want to, scoop it all in there, but at the same time, I'm not going to get too crazy if a little bit more gets in. I'm still going to be careful though. Now, at a certain point, when the levels of your liquids are equal, you're going to have to lower this, but only go as far as you need to. Wow, there's a lot of lees in there, and we're sucking up tons of it, and I'm okay with that right now. Let me explain why. If I don't suck up some of this lees, I'm going to lose a good portion of my brew, okay? And before somebody says filter it or anything like that, you really can't. It's virtually impossible.
Do you want to do the gentle tilt?
We are going to do the gentle tilt, however, which puts a little bit more pressure on and keeps some of the silt out, but not a lot. We get asked all the time by newer brewers, like, oh, that's a lot of waste. It's not waste. It's actually the lees. It's part of the process. So before you start thinking that this is being wasted, it's actually not. This is expected, okay? And because this was a whole fruit put in here, I expected a lot of lees. You just do when you use whole fruit. Does it seem like you're throwing away quite a bit of product? Maybe, but would you want to drink that? I don't want to drink that. So how is it throwing away product? You're throwing away stuff that you're not going to use. And this is done, because it's like jelly in the bottom here now. We're just going to empty that guy out. Now, I racked it into a pitcher, but we want to get it into a bottle. By the way, in case you're curious, yes, this is really a Carlo Rossi. This is the sangria one, because we actually like their sangria for some reason. It's nice and sweet. The reason I like those is that is smaller than a gallon. It's like 3 liters. So it's 0.875 liters smaller than the gallon. That way, when I fill this up into the neck, I'm not getting as much headroom, because this is less than a gallon. I know up to about that lip there is a gallon. There might be a little bit extra, and you know what? A little taste never hurt anybody. So, in this video, you don't get to watch us rack once. No, not just once, but twice. So, again, I'm just going to put this about halfway down, because if you can see that line? It's already settling out. So, here's an opportunity to get some more of that stuff out. So, I'm just going to get it started, hold it about in the middle, just like we did before, and go from there. All right. So we made it to the end. We do have a little bit of goop at the bottom. So we did get some of the solids back out again. But if you look, it's right up to here in the neck of the bottle. You know what that means? I don't get another taste. But it's okay, because that's where I want it to be. There's almost no headroom here. So let me just get this out of the way and we'll be right back. Okay, so we got it racked. I can still see some stuff floating in there, so I know this needs to sit for another few weeks. We have our airlock with a bung. Just going to stick that in there. Now, because this is a Carlo Rossi bottle, it's a little tighter than most. I probably could use a smaller stopper. Just make sure that stays in there. Oh yeah, it fits. It's snug. It's tight, but it works. That's all we need, right? So this will go back under my desk for a while. Probably another 2 to 3 weeks at least. But it can sit almost indefinitely at this point because it's under airlock, and there is going to be some degassing happening, so you might see some airlock activity, but it's probably not really fermenting anymore if you follow it along. But next time you see this, we are going to prime it with some extra sugars, and we're going to bottle it, and I'll show you all the steps involved in doing that.
Depending on if we see Elise cake again, we may rack it first before doing that.
Yeah, well, we'll rack it to a pitcher at the very least. So it will be racked one more time, if not more. But anyway, if you like this video, give us a like. If you like what we're doing here, hit subscribe. And don't forget to hit that little bell icon. That way YouTube will let you know every time we put out a new video. And if you'd like to be a part of the channel and be a supporter of the channel, we do have a VIP club on Facebook that you get to via Patreon. So use the links below and right there to sign up for Patreon and start supporting our channel and help us out. You also get to be part of a community where we learn as much from you guys as you guys learn from us. But we're all there to share, we're all there to help each other, and you get to see some behind the scenes stuff that we got going on and find out what we're eating for dinner that day and things like that. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.